Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be reviewing the book of poetry Uprooted by Samantha Rumbidzai Vazhure, who is a Zimbabwean poet based in the UK. Uprooted is a compilation of thought-provoking poems, and it was written about, it's about immigrants, like Zimbabwean immigrants who are all over the world, like in the UK, in the USA, anywhere in the world. And she kind of talks about what they go through, from depression, from, you know, like being happy about like getting their papers or their visas, and like what they go through with the home office. Sometimes it could be like someone having suicidal thoughts, and it's not only about that, it's also about like in marriage, how you can appreciate someone you love. I know there's one of my favorite, I'll probably read it out. And she also talks about the abuse of men who are being abused by their wives, women who are being abused by their husbands or their in-laws, and about miscarriage. So there are a lot of topics, a lot of poems in the book. I think there are about over 120 poems. And not to be biased, but I think this is by far one of my favorite book of poetry because it really touched close to home. Like I said on last week's video, like African authors are really becoming conscious, and they're not like, you know, trying to write things which are all happy chappy, but they're also writing things that are thought-provoking, that will have you think, that will have you analyze your life. And that's something I'm always for. I always want to learn more. I want to unlearn more about myself and about things around me. So just to give you a quick background of the book, Uprooted was first written in Shona. So there is a Shona version which is called Zvadzugwa Musango, and it was later on translated to the English version, which is called Uprooted. And I'll be reading a few of the poems from the English version for those who do not understand Shona. And yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy. So the first poem I'm going to read is Uprooted, which is the title of the book, and it talks about, or it's rather encouraging immigrants when they move to certain countries not to lose themselves, you know, to be resilient and not to lose hope in who they are. Because obviously, like when you move to a certain country, from your country to another country, you will have to abide by the law of the land. And it's kind of an encouragement of like not to lose yourself in the process. So, now immigrant, you escaped war, hunger and troubles from a country taken over by ruffians. You wander in pursuit of social welfare. You're a beautiful plant uprooted from nature, whose purpose is to decorate a yard in a faraway land. Those uprooted from their natural habitats are important to keep homes adorned. But remember, exotic plants need sunlight and water, and conditions mimicking what they are used to. Immigrant, stop your roots from dying out. Do not wilt. Your migration would be pointless otherwise. Do not forget who you are. Love yourself as you are. Maintain your ingenuity. Take charge. Stay alert of opportunities. Remember where you're from and know where you're going. We are one. God's creations are related and equal. You hurt anything, you hurt yourself. You harm others, you harm yourself. Don't fear your love. Simply love others as you love yourself. Those from where you're from and where you took refuge. Flush all forms of discrimination down the drain. Courage and gratitude are the hallmarks of love. Speak your mind, refuse to be silenced, and do not lie or feel shame. This bears no rewards. Appreciate the strength of words that escape your mouth. Think deeply before you wet your tongue. Natural wisdom and understanding, that is your intuition. You will find sharpened in your meditation. Your supernatural abilities will increase when you get rid of the noise in your life, because God speaks in a gentle whisper that can only be heard by a selected few. Those uprooted from the natural habitat should be tough like an aloe plant, which survives for a very long time, even during times of drought and famine. It maintains its medicinal potency, which heals animals and sickly humans. Then when it is planted in time, as if it was never uprooted, quickly becomes grounded again. Ehue, now immigrant, you were uprooted, but you will be re-established. So that is a poem, you know, encouraging immigrants like to to stay true to themselves, to never lie, you know, not to discriminate, because you know, when you move to a new country, you will have things that you might have learned from before. Like obviously when you, like for example, when I moved here, I didn't know that I was black. Not that I didn't know I was black, but I realized I was black when I moved here, because in Zimbabwe we're all black and they are white people, but where I lived we never really saw white people that frequent. So when I came here, I realized for the first time that I'm actually a black person, and my treatment, like how I was treated, was quite different. And it really gets to you, because you start questioning, oh, what exactly is it about me that is not worthwhile? And also, like, there's also that need to change yourself to try and fit in. But this poem is actually like encouraging people who have moved to different countries to stay true to themselves, you know, to, like, even when they go through certain things, to just remain as who they are, to not forget who they are, and to grow, to love, and to have hope. So yeah, it's one of my favorite, but there are plenty more. So the second poem I'm going to read is called Money Back Home, and it talks about like how you have to be mindful if you're sending money back home, because most people in the diaspora, when they send money back home, they literally send all of the money. They don't actually have time to think of themselves, because there's that guilt conscience of, you know, oh, I'm living here where there are jobs where I can get money, but at the same time we kind of forget to take care of ourselves, because we send everything to keep everyone at home happy. But this one, I can relate to this one, and I know like certain members of my family, my mom, can really relate to this. It is good to send money back home so that they may drink all day, using money you earned washing the elderly. It is good to build a mansion back home, where you do not know when you will return, yet you live on an empty purse. It is good to have a house built on your behalf, where you send money month after month. When you check progress, you find bare ground. It is good to send money back home so that they eat eggs and noodles while you live on unbuttered bread. It is good to send money back home so they can go on holidays. Yet for many years, you have not taken a break. It is good to send money back home to the thankless ones. You know who they are. They return tomorrow saying that what you give is not enough. It is good to send money back home so you can hear them saying they miss you and love you so. Yet upon receipt of fund, you hear nothing more. It is good to send money back home to those who get worked up when you say you have nothing, yet they don't think of you when they get it elsewhere. It is good to send money back home. All the conversations with you are about money. They want nothing else from you. It is good to send money back home, but ask yourself, what if you die tomorrow? Be content, be mindful before you send money back home. So, this poem, like I said, her poems are very thought-provoking, because these are some of the things that most people in the diaspora think about, but they can never really say out loud. Because this issue or this thing of sending money, it's not that people don't want to send money, but at times they literally don't have any money. Like what she's saying, that she's not saying you should not send money, but be mindful, also take care of yourself. Because I've known and I've heard of people who have died from working like 24-hour shifts, like back to back, going for 7 days, and they don't rest because they want to provide for their families. So it's kind of telling like immigrants who are like in different countries or wherever they are to be mindful and to also take care of themselves, and to be a bit selfish at times, because I think it's very important for someone to be selfish at times. Doesn't mean that you don't love them, but you love them enough to choose yourself. I hope that makes sense. So the third poem I'm going to read is called Cakes with No Icing, and it's more about women who are obsessed by the way they look. And I always say this, beauty is subjective. What I find to be beautiful to someone is not. So I really don't condone when people say, oh, someone is ugly. I don't think anyone is ugly at all. Beauty is very subjective. And I feel like when you call someone ugly, you're kind of underestimating God's ability, because when he created everyone, he said they're good. So everyone is beautiful in God's eyes, in my eyes. It just means that beauty is subjective. What I like, someone else doesn't like. What I find to be pretty, to be beautiful, to someone else, it's like something completely opposite. So this poem talks about like people who are obsessed by the way they look and how they look down upon other women. So yeah. There are women who put each other down. They criticize other women's presentation and declare other women ugly, simply because they do not straighten their hair or braid their hair or wear wigs. There are women labeled too fat or too thin. Then those who choose not to shave their armpits, private bits, legs and chins. There are some who do not shave their eyebrows or decorate their faces and nails. These women have those who appreciate them. It is quite common to find them taken, while the beauty queens remain untouched. Why is this the case, I wonder? What do these women hinge on? They must be delicious, these women. I say they are cakes with no icing. May I ask the beauty and slay queens, and those obsessed with how they look? You may carry on, but I will make a small point. Too much sugar will trigger illness. Not everyone is looking for icing. Not everyone is into sugar. You may dismiss mboza, but is it not filling? Every guinea fowl wears attractive spotted feathers. Do not criticize cakes with no icing. So just to help you understand mboza, that's like undercooked saga. So although it's undercooked, it's actually filling. So what the poet was trying to say is, even if something is not as desirable, you cannot criticize it because you could also be doing the same job. So yeah, this one was very I really liked this because like in our society, modern society, and also as a young person, like everyone is looking for that person who is like beautiful, who has all the standards, who has like that BBL body, who has like their hair well kept, their nails, everything, like someone who's like Beyonce standard. But she's actually saying that not everyone looks like that, not everyone also wants to look like that. There's a statement which I really detest, and that's when people say, oh, God is just making anyone these days. Like I feel like, you cannot say that, because when, like what I said before, when God creates everyone, he says that they're good, and just because someone is not desirable to you doesn't mean they will not get anyone, and not everyone is trying to be with anyone. Some people, they just love themselves and their natural being. Some people, like nowadays, women, we're now loving our natural hair. Like for myself, I started my natural journey like last year because I really wanted to love myself for exactly who I am. And even if it's not what everyone perceives to be beautiful, as long as I see it myself, even without being told, as long as I see it myself and I believe what God says, then I'm definitely a cake with no icing. The next poem I'm going to read is called That Which Pleases Daddy, and it's about a woman who is appreciating how her husband loves her pouch belly. Like women after they give birth, or some women even, their bodies, they just have like a big belly, and she was just appreciating how he would just caress it, how he would rub it, and how she's grateful that he's not into the superficial kind of body. Because to be honest with you, nowadays, like, we live in a very superficial world. People want the perfect body, the flat tummy, the big bum, and not everyone is built like that, and that's okay. We all don't have to like live according to the world standard. And this is one of my favorite because it actually shows that there are people, men, boyfriends, husbands, who actually appreciate and understand that women's bodies, they also change because of hormones, and these are things that which are actually beyond our control. So yeah, I'll read that one. It's one of my favorites. I enter the quilt. He's sleeping. He turns, looks at me. His arm is on my belly button. He strokes it. Going south, he tickles. He massages my bottom pouch. He breathes to the warmth of my booty. I smile. He smiles. In his sleep, I'm happy. He's pleased with that which pleases daddy. So it's quite short, but I just like how the smallest things, what you do for your partner, for your wife, they can really make their day and they can actually boost their confidence. It's not always like something big or grand. Sometimes it's just one word or one gesture. So this is one of my favorites, only because, you know, it's the little things that really matter, that really strengthen a relationship. The next poem I'm going to read is called Adversity, and it's about an illegal immigrant who thinks that, you know, like the police are after him, but they actually want to inquire something about a stabbing in the neighborhood. But because they're an illegal immigrant, they quickly assume it's like, you know, the social services or home offices, they call it here, and then they skip through the back window in the dead of winter and in their pajamas also, and then they go to work. So I hope you really feel the emotion with this. The thrill, not the excitement thrill, but it's more like fear. It was the winter season, living quietly in the Queen's Nation, still living illegally, still with no papers, existing like a ghost. What could I do? Very early in the morning, I returned from work. It was white with snow, which had fallen like an avalanche. Exhausted by my shift, what kind of work is this? My micromanaging manager acts like a proper witch. Gulp, gulp, I drank my tea as I faced much needed sleep. Could never fall asleep with a frozen body. As I unwound in bed, I heard goo, 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 goo. The door was struck in police-like fashion. As I dragged myself out of bed, I reckoned, must be the postman. Who else could it be? Through the peephole, my eye struck out like a nail. Almost escaped its socket. Couldn't believe what I saw. An army of policemen with guns and assaultions. Oh my goodness, my intuition was spot on. There are hundreds of them. This is the end of me. Did someone sell me out? Enemy of progress. Sociopath. Who did this? Deportation. They've got to be kidding me. As I pondered my next move, they seemed to multiply. Covered in goosebumps, I stalked in reverse. Through the back window, I jumped out. Very impressive. Right into the fluffy snow, I thought, catch me if you can. In Adam's style, I begged my feet to carry me. I propelled my strides like a thief in a ghetto location. My feet felt numb as if smeared by numb location. Hop over fence, hop, hop, hop. In the nearest people's garden, on the tables, hop, hop. Over neighbors' gardens, like stone rivers crossings. Cars full of police wailing in pursuit of me. By the strength of Samson, hop, springing forward, hop. Then I come to a road with a mass of people. Now I was whitebait amongst other small fishes. Head down, no gazing around. My huge head was smoked growing up. Now a beacon. Police cars wailing everywhere. People, people. Their only hope, my only wish, somewhere to hide. Whitebait in the Lake Kariba, looking for refuge. My ancestors wondrously delivered me to my place of work. With feet long dead, in desperate need of a quilt, they were gobsmacked when I showed up in the ward. Their colleague in pajamas on a shoeless body. I was sleepwalking. A madman's explanation. What could they do? I made a call. My neighbor, is the cost clear? Then she unravels that what had happened. The police were hunting down witnesses. A kid in the neighborhood was stabbed. A huge sigh of relief before I called a taxi, then meditated in gratitude all the way home. Whew, okay, so this poem, I think it resonates with a lot of immigrants here, or people who've gone through the process of the home office. To be honest with you, from stories I've heard, from experience, it is not something you would ever wish your worst enemy to go through, because you're always living with anxiety, you're always on urge, you know, and it's very hard also to for you to make friends, because you never know if people's intentions are pure, if they want, you know, to sell you out. Because I've heard of people who've been sold out because apparently if you sell someone out you get money, and there are people who are actually that mean, that vile, that would actually sell someone out. And I really liked how the direct translation from Shona to English, like Adam's style, is like in Adam style, I begged my feet to carry me. It's like in Shona it's called Tsokandibereke, and it's like when you really run, like you run for your life, run very quick. And another one is the kneeless people. So like back in the days when Zimbabwe was colonized, the people because the black people, like that was late a long time ago, when they were not exposed to white people. So when the white people came, they called them kneeless people, people without knees, because they were wearing trousers. And back then, people in Zimbabwe, they were wearing what we call nembe, and that would just cover the front of the front. They were not wearing any trousers. So that's where the name kneeless people comes from, like vanhu vasina mavi. Yeah, so this one, I hope you felt the emotions with this one, because I really liked it. There are so many, like I said before, there are so many poems I like, and I'm actually tempted to keep reading, but I'll see if I can squeeze in one or two. The next poem I'm going to read is called It Slipped, and it's about a woman who's talking about her miscarriage, what she went through, her emotions, like, you know, being excited, being pregnant, and then losing it, which I believe a lot of women have gone through. And what I like about poetry is it expresses how you feel. Like sometimes I actually saw like quote, someone said that like poets, they say things and describe colors which you did not even know you knew. So poets, they have this ability of explaining how you feel without even knowing that's how you felt. So yeah, I'll read It Slipped, and I hope it helps someone who's going through. For many days we've come together. Cold weather demands carnal convergence. Result, a seed is eventually sown. I perceive orders and spend all days asleep. Thank you, Father, for answering my prayers. Morale is high in our family. There's no more drama. We now await the 9 months to be united with our child. Congratulations, congratulations. The world celebrates. Hooray, our Father has been good to us. Those who knit and crochet, please launch the graft. Those who can't, off you go to mother care. As the months progress, the baby kicks. It's pretty skillful. I'm certain it's content. When it goes quiet, I drink ice cold water. After a while, it kicks again, and I'm jubilant. A midnight startle, I feel damp warmth. A touchdown below reveals a bloody puddle. Father, if you have taken it, what a punishment. I begin a lamentation. I can see no longer. On arrival at the hospital, we beg for help. We're afraid there's not much we can do. If you're miscarrying, it can't be helped. Pray if you may, it might just stop. The days have progressed. My cervix dilates. They listen for a heartbeat and confirm there's nothing. The labor pains begin with nothing to look forward to. Push, baby girl, push. Push out the body of your child. It has come out, a little boy. Looks so healthy, looks like his father. Why have you chastened us with such a whip, Father? What do we do now? All we have are tears. On arrival at home, all we see is darkness. Shall we start all over? This is depressing. God, dry our tears. Our eyes are blinded. It had processed so well. It had progressed so well, but the pregnancy slipped. Wow, that one is quite heavy, but it I really don't have much to say, because I can feel the pain of, you know, obviously I can never understand because I've not gone through it, but you can feel it, you know, like the joy, you know, being expectant. You can imagine being super excited after like trying with someone who you really love, someone who you really cherish, and you're looking forward to someone who looks like half the person you love and half you, and then, you know, you lose it. So it's quite heartbreaking. Yeah. The next poem, which I'm going to read, this is the second from last, I promise. It's called Condolences from the Bewitcher, and it's about people who don't know how to apologize, people who just blame the devil and they don't take accountability of what they've done. There are people like that. They can never say, you know, I was personally wrong. It's always something got into me. It was the devil. I couldn't control it. And to an extent, yes, but come on guys, like there are other things that you know, like you were the one who did it, and because of pride or ego you just end up blaming the devil. For all we know, the devil is someone like on a beach drinking like pina coladas, and then you're out here blaming him for something that he did not do. It's not always the devil, sometimes it's you. So I think some people will learn to take accountability with this point. If I did you wrong, I'm sorry. Not sure why. It's a generational spiritual problem. I may be possessed by a spirit of an ancestor. Please forgive me. I'm a man of flesh. I have no idea what possessed me. I will not do it again. Forgive me, my friend. The spirits took the best of me. I don't know how they managed to possess me. I will not repeat it. See how much I have lamented. Do you want me on my knees? Be enough like Vazhure should be, child of my country. You have taken no responsibilities for your wrongs. If your spirits have caused everything and you have no idea how they possess you, how do you know you will not repeat the offense? Hit the highway, men of flesh. You and your spirits have a safe trip. Even I'm possessed and I'm a man of flesh. So yeah, so this poem, I like it, obvious reasons obviously. How it actually, like, we are all human, we all make mistakes, but when you make a mistake, at least be accountable, actually say I'm sorry and mean it, because there are certain things, like, this is just me, there are certain things which people do which you know they'll probably do again. Like for me, something like cheating, I'm sorry, but I just feel like it's going to happen again, so I would rather not try again, because it just feels like it's going to happen again, especially when they are not accountable. They're like, oh, something got into me, it was the evil spirits or something. This is just my opinion, this is just how I see things, because I just feel like something that big, you know, because when you cheat on someone, you actually, like, it's a lot, you know, you're damaging their confidence, their trust, you know, the person starts viewing themselves different. And if you claim to love someone, I don't think that's something that you would do. And I just feel like you do it again, you know, I don't know. It's just, this is just me, but there are people who actually don't take accountability when they do something. It's always, oh, the devil made me do it. Oh, you know, I don't know what got into me. I can't help it. It's against my will. I'm possessed. Well, no one wants someone who's possessed, you know. We're all fighting our own demons, you know, and we try to be the best person that we can be. And I know, like, not everyone is a finished progress, like everyone is progressing, everyone is trying to be different, but you have to, like, put more effort into that. The next poem I'm going to read is called We Seem To, and this is more on a lighter note, and it's just like it talks about, like, when you meet someone and you, like, they're kindred spirits and there's just this instant connection. I'm a true believer that everyone who's in your life is there for a purpose, and it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be there in your life forever. It could be for an hour, for a minute, but there's a purpose in there. And I'm always one who wants to learn. I'm always up to learning new things and also unlearning new things, as I said before. So I believe that every single person that you meet, it's for a reason. It doesn't have to always be romantic, or it doesn't always have to be like a huge lesson. Sometimes it's just someone who's there to just make you smile. They just say something, they make you smile, or it's the little things. So yeah, I'll read this one. We seem to know each other from a past existence. We seem to mystically speak the same language. We seem to feel and understand each other. We seem to tickle and make each other happy. We seem comfortable to be authentic around ourselves. We seem to never criticize or belittle each other. We seem to encourage and lift each other up. We seem to educate and mentor each other. We seem to energize and give each other strength. We seem to intuitively know what the other needs. We seem to dream and daydream of each other. We seem related and have a cosmic connection. We seem to nourish and satisfy each other. We seem to like and fancy each other. We seem to love and adore each other. I think this is a very beautiful poem, and I can relate to this because I have a friendship which is like this. You know, when there's just this connection. People only think that, you know, you can only have a connection with a romantic partner, but it's also there in friendship, even in families and siblings, you know. And I think it's something very beautiful, having to have someone who you can be transparent with, someone who you can be, you know, comfortable being quiet with. You know, you don't always have to talk. You can just be content being quiet, just being around each other without having to talk. And I think that's something that is very beautiful. So yeah, guys, to be honest with you, I don't know if today was book review or book recommendation, because I really enjoyed these poems. Like I said before, probably because I'm an immigrant, and most of them, they talk about things which I go through day to day: missing home, feeling misplaced, you know, sometimes you have bouts of depression, you know. And I really enjoyed this poem, and I'm definitely going to get the Shona version for my dad. It's probably going to be his birthday present or Father's Day present for next year. But yeah, so it has an English version which is called Uprooted, which I was reading from, for those who don't understand Shona. But you can also get the Shona version, which is called Zvadzugwa Musango. And what I also loved about this book is that at the back of the book, like the poet, she talks about like how she ended up writing poems. She talks you through like what exactly inspired her to write all these poems. And also, like, there's a glossary at the end, so if you don't understand like certain things, like this here, Shona words, Shona names, so if you don't understand, you can also go to the back and check what exactly it means. And I think it's very important, like, obviously, like, I know like now African authors are moving away from highlighting like their native words or native languages, because they're no longer writing under the white gaze. But when you're writing something which is a lot of like words or sentences or, you know, phrases from your language, I think it would be a bit helpful for those who don't understand your language, maybe if you write it at the back, for them to also understand it. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. And if you want to talk about the book and the poems, please, by all means, do comment, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, guys, goodbye.